Welcome back. Filling in for Russ Thomas this weekend, and he picked a good weekend to take some days off. It's really busy out there. We've got a lot of folks seeing their first snowfall of the season on the other side of the divide, and with that we've had a lot of issues as far as travel's concerned, especially up around Browning. We've got a lot of issues with some snowy and icy roads in central Montana, and then a little bit further north from Butte towards Elk Park, just south of Helena. This is going to be a little bit of calm before we get into the forecast. A big thank you to my buddy Doug. The next 24 hours showcasing that high pressure in the vicinity, so we're going to keep some very clear skies in the forecast. By tomorrow afternoon and evening, though, in northwest Montana first, we're going to start to see those clouds on the increase. That's out ahead of our next system north of Missoula, where we had all those severe thunderstorm warnings that were issued. We had one outside of Whitefish on the south side of Kalispell. Remember, if you're itching to hit the slopes, I know a lot of us like to get that fresh powder when we get it, especially because it's been a while. Be safe.
Beautiful day out there. And I'll tell you, if it was 10 years ago, Erin Yost would have ridden her scooter to work today. I can guarantee it. Let's take a look at the first forecast. Erin's filling in for Elizabeth tonight.
Those were the days. I can't believe you remember that thing. Yes, long ago, those were the years. Yeah, we saw some great weather out there today. It all depends who gets to see the snow, just how far south and west that cold air makes it. Right now, it does look like it's going to hang up pretty much right along the Rocky Mountain front and in northwest Montana, and then along I-90 southward of it. Probably just going to see a rain-snow mix. So we do have some winter weather advisories in place. So you can bet the overnight lows tonight going to remain on the milder side. We will continue to see the rain falling, but notice we start to see that direction change. That's indicating our system finally starting to move a little bit. But notice as we move through tomorrow morning, that bullseye still there right along the divide in the Rocky Mountain front. So we're not quite done with this rain yet. Now what this is an atmospheric river. We call them ARs in the world of weather. And it's just this narrow, intense plume of subtropical moisture. Now these ARs, and you only need a few of them, account for about 30 to 50% of the annual precipitation for folks along the west coast. I just checked MDT's road reports, and it does say that that area is experiencing slush and scattered slush, but we are seeing some snow coming down in that area. So something to just keep in mind if you're going to be out and about for some reason traveling this evening and into tomorrow morning. Things are going to stay pretty slick for a lot of folks, especially if you were closer to the divide. Tonight, though, finally seeing those clouds breaking up just a bit, enough to give us a sunset. Debbie Wark captured this one. So things obviously rocking and rolling out there. This remarkably strong Pacific system making its way through the region. This is Hamilton right now. Pass cams across the area today. A lot of them just seeing wet conditions, at least in our neck of the woods. McDonald Pass, though, the last couple of days, it has been a snowy roadway out there, and we do continue to see some impacts there. As we move into the day tomorrow, notice the shortwave tracks on off to the east rather quickly. We'll be left with a little bit of residual moisture. We might see a late day thunderstorm develop. I think the chances of that going to be very low, especially compared to what we saw out there today. Quick look at the national temperatures right now. Of course, the cold spot in the northern Rockies, where we do continue to see kind of an exiting trough. We do have some high pressure, though, that's built just to the south and the west of us. We did see a gusty day across a lot of the Rocky Mountain front, north central Montana, where we did have some high wind warnings out earlier. Right now, though, pretty quiet conditions. Again, not only here in western Montana, but across a lot of the Treasure State.
So joining us now for a better look at today's weather highlights and what's going on out there is Erin Yost, who's all too familiar with Montana's wind. Erin.
Woo! This one, though, literally one for the record books. We had a lot of places across the Treasure State actually seeing some of the highest wind gusts they've ever recorded in the month of January. And that's going to be our weather story as we move into the next couple of days. Notice, though, that little blue line, that's a cold front that's going to be tracking across the region by tomorrow afternoon. So that is going to cool us down. It's going to drop those snow levels down to valley floors by tomorrow evening. Hopefully a lot of that moisture going to be already moved on out of here, but as it moves through, we are going to see very windy conditions. Not going to be a humongous system by any means, but enough to create some issues if you are going to be traveling, especially at pass level. Yeah, it's been a very active couple of hours across all of western Montana, and that was totally in the cards, although a lot of the focus should have remained in the southwest quarter of the state. The Storm Prediction Center went ahead and kind of included everybody in the viewing area. Things very scattered in nature now, getting a couple of lightning strikes there, jumping over the border from the panhandle of Idaho into some of northwest Montana. Welcome back. A lot of us waking waking up to our first snow of the season. Wally did. This was taken in Columbia Falls earlier this morning. Mount Rainier, when all is said and done, over 2 days, they could be approaching 100 inches of snow from this system alone. This thing is a beast. Now today, we've obviously seen what that can do for us. A lot of rainfall across a lot of western Montana valleys. So we're going to be watching our local area rivers, creeks, and streams, and then eventually over the next couple of days, the main stem rivers, because all this has to trickle down into the big rivers, and we will see sharp rises if we haven't already. And it's all because this system just to the south of us, it's a cutoff low, so it's lost the jet stream steering it through the area, so it just kind of sits and spins. And the way it's positioned, it gives us this really good upslope flow. Basically runs right into the Rocky Mountain front and unleashes. So believe it or not, there are some areas that are going to see even more precipitation than a lot of us in western Montana have already seen.
Storm tracker weather starts now with meteorologist Erin Yost.
Welcome back. Filling in for Russ Thomas this weekend, and he picked a good weekend to take some days off. It's really busy out there. We've got a lot of folks seeing their first snowfall of the season on the other side of the divide, and with that, we've had a lot of issues as far as travel's concerned, especially up around Browning. We've got a lot of issues with some snowy and icy roads in central Montana, and then a little bit further north from Butte towards Elk Park, just south of Helena. For us west of the divide, though, for the most part today, we have seen just rain, and we are continuing to see that sort of streaming in from the west northwest. Now at the same time, that cold air kind of ran up along the Continental Divide and the Rocky Mountain front, and it sort of stopped. It is slowly starting to work its way towards the south and the west, and should arrive to a lot of folks here overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. At the same time, we're going to see that next surge of moisture moving in, and that'll be our chance to see our first light snowfall of the season. Now this was earlier today. You've got Lookout Pass, Lost Trail, Lolo. Smooth sailing. Roadways were great, but notice McDonald Pass right there on the Continental Divide. That was earlier this evening, completely snow covered. We're seeing icy conditions as well. Right now, Marias, Rogers, McDonald Passes all seeing snow related impacts. As I'd mentioned, the Browning area in central Montana as well. This was Polson earlier today from our St. Joseph Medical Center iCam. You've got a look in the Missoula Valley, our time lapse from our St. Patrick Hospital iCam, where we're sitting at 45 degrees. It has been breezy at times today. Kalispell, we saw a peak wind gust, for example, at about 31 miles per hour, but for the most part, it's just been rain for us west of the divide, and a record daily rainfall amount for us in Missoula. We picked up 0.4 of an inch of rainfall officially at the airport. We're at 45 again right now. We've got 43 in Hamilton, 30 in Kalispell, Sealy Lake as well. So you can see that colder air just now starting to spill over the divide and impacting some folks here in northwest and some of west central Montana. But it's a lot colder on the other side of the divide, where folks are sitting in the teens and 20s. It is 30 degrees colder right now in Helena, for example, than this exact time 24 hours ago. So a lot of folks getting hit hard with that Canadian cold front. Now for us overnight tonight, you're going to be colder closer to the divide, and cold enough for most areas to at least see a rain snow mix as that next surge of moisture streams in from the west northwest. Now it all depends who gets to see the snow, just how far south and west that cold air makes it. Right now it does look like it's going to hang up pretty much right along the Rocky Mountain front and in northwest Montana, and then along I-90 southward of it. Probably just going to see a rain snow mix. So we do have some winter weather advisories in place. Butte Blackfoot region 2 to 5 inches, Potomac Sealy Lake 3 to 7, West Glacier 3 to 6 inches, Flathead and Mission Valleys maybe upwards of 1 inch to 3 inches. Not going to be a whole lot, and a lot of it going to stick in the grassy surfaces and will melt. Don't worry about that. But it is going to be kind of, you know, a little surprise for some of us to see the first snowfall of this season. Bottom line, your best bet to see it accumulate going to be closer to the divide. The further away you get from it, not too bad. We will stay fairly active into some of next week, especially the middle of the week, with temperatures below average.